Welcome to the Airbnb Roadmap, the podcast designed to navigate you through the entire journey of short-term rental success. Whether you're just starting out or ready to take your hosting game to the next level. My husband and I became super hosts within just months of launching our first Airbnb and have proudly kept that title ever since. With over 350 reviews and an overall 4.95 star rating, we picked up a hack or two I'm excited to share with you. In each episode, I break down the strategies, insights, and industry secrets that set profitable short-term rentals apart. From choosing the right property, understanding local regulations, and obtaining your listing to go beyond just the basics. I'm here to share everything you need to succeed. So if you're ready to map out your path to Airbnb success and unlock the full potential of short-term rentals, join me on the Airbnb Roadmap. Your journey starts here. Hey, I'm Brittany Wenninger with Porch Realty, powered by Real Broker LLC, and welcome to another episode of the Airbnb Roadmap Podcast. I've had a lot of coffee once again, so this is going to be, well, I'm honestly probably going to be talking fast because that's kind of my vibe today, which is fun. We are a couple weeks away from launching Airbnb number 4 and 5. Honestly, been going really smooth, no hiccups. Oh my gosh, knock on wood for that one. I was totally expecting my dog to probably start barking because she probably think that someone's at the front door. But the biggest annoyance is literally boxes. We have so many boxes. Our next door neighbor texted us saying, you guys have an embarrassing amount of packages in front of your front door. And I swear that all of our packages always come on a weekend, and we are up north renovating over the weekend, so we can't bring the packages in the house. And I always say that I guess Amazon and all that stuff always says that, it's going to come by Thursday and Friday morning or something like that. And it always comes Friday night and we're already gone. So one of our neighbors does bring in the expensive boxes, so TVs and stuff like that for us. So that's kind of been a blessing. We have amazing neighbors and they just always help us out, which is very nice because growing up, I grew up in a cul-de-sac as well. We currently live in a cul-de-sac. And that's kind of how I grew up. All the neighbors kind of help each other out. I always just run to the neighbor's house to go play with them, Matt and Andrew. And it was just kind of a little community there. And I can't imagine living next door neighbors that, one, we don't like, two, we just don't talk to. I've always had a great community of, the neighbors. So we are very fortunate for that. Clay and I always say that we don't want to move because of the neighbors. So yeah, that is kind of been the biggest annoyance though, is just unpacking everything and breaking down the boxes. And we have so many boxes. So taking it to the dump and all that BS. So I kind of wish that back in the day how you would go to a furniture store and literally just pick up a full dresser and just put it into your house instead of assembling everything. Assembling is such a bitch. I'm getting a lot better at it, but it's still so annoying because that takes a couple hours. If it's a dresser, oh my god, dressers, those take 4 hours for me because all the stupid little drawers and yeah, and I'm one of those people that usually at the end of a project, I literally have screws that I haven't used, and the instructions would say have to use everything, and I always have extras. I'm oh shit, I totally missed a step, or didn't put a screw in somewhere. I don't know, but I always feel I always mess up at one point. And then I have to backtrack, and it's kind of, yeah, it's a thing. Clay's really good at it. I'm learning to be good at it, but here we are still complaining about it. But anywho, enough of my shenanigans. Let's talk about your shenanigans. And that is, if you are not automating your Airbnbs, then let's chat about that. We use softwares, so many softwares, to pretty much have the softwares run our business, which is really nice. I spend about 30 and now kind of 45 minutes a week literally managing the Airbnbs, I don't spend that much time. And we still have 5-star reviews rolling in like a lot, which is great. I'm very thankful for it. The software programs that we use, get out your, I used to say like pencil and paper. Now it would probably be like your iPhone and open up your notes section, because that's what I do. Or if you're driving, then just memorize this stuff. But anywho, pull out whatever you need to pull out. But our property management software is Hospitable. I am absolutely obsessed with Hospitable. Now, they are amazing. The one thing I will say is that when it comes to Vrbo always has like a 5-minute lag to it. And I have found that Vrbo really does not integrate with a lot of property management softwares. I've heard it from so many people that Vrbo's Vrbo. It's like a whole nother beast and a little annoying and complicated. But a 5-minute lag from like the time that we get the booking to sending the instructions or like the welcome message is not that bad. So we use Hospitable for a lot of things. One, we use it for our auto messages. And if you take the online course, I pretty much share exactly what we use for all of our auto messages and when they should go out and all that fun stuff. It's literally a copy and paste. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I have a marketing person. She's absolutely amazing. She has actually put the listing, this is listing descriptions. So if you want a copy of our listing description, we have a freebie out there right now. All you just have to do is plug in your email and then we literally just send it to you. So I will link that, and I will also put that in the social media post. So that's the listing description. We have that very detailed just because the more detailed it is, the less questions you get. And it also is kind of like an added insurance of like, if they say you don't have a gas or propane grill, I'll be like, you are correct. And the listing description, as you can see, it has charcoal. So that was such a side note. But if you want that, there will be links everywhere. And actually, we'll put it in the link in the bio in the Instagram page as well. So just go there and literally freebie. I also have that in the course as well. But going back, also in the course is the auto messages. So, that's super nice. Anywho, for Hospitable, so yeah, we use the auto messages, and then also we use the Schlage. So in Hospitable, because I always say like Hospitable is kind of like the hub, and there's all these other softwares that connect to the hub, including Schlage. So Schlage is a keyless entry system that you put on the door, and right when there's a booking, Schlage will then create a code for the guest. It's always the last 4 digits of their phone number, and it will set it up where Schlage knows when the booking will start and when it'll end. So then you can also do more automation and say, hey, I want this code to actually delete 2 hours after the checkout time, or I want this code to be entered, like someone can actually use it 2 hours before the check-in time, or whatever it may be. So that's been really helpful. And I always have, between you and I always have the Schlage code available for guests at 1:30. We have the check-in time at 3 o'clock. The reason why I do that is because there's a lot of times our cleaner is already done cleaning, and if I can get a guest in early, that just kind of ups their experience and more likely for them to give us a 5-star review. So that way I don't have to do anything on the back end. Now, do the guests know that? No. Whenever I say, hey, you can check in early, I would kind of like make it a big deal. Like, hey, like I just went into the system and changed the time, blah, blah, blah. In reality, it was already changed. So the more that you can kind of make it sound like that you went out of your way to make their experience even better, is always the way to go. No one, it's kind of a sales thing because you don't want to say like, oh yeah, it was already in the system as a 1:30 or 2 o'clock entry that you can get in. You want to kind of like make it more of an experience and that you just want like above and beyond. That way they seem more grateful, which I know this sounds kind of crappy, but hey, it's true. Now that's Schlage, and this is all automated. I don't even do anything. Also, the nice thing is that it tells you when the batteries need to be changed out, so that's kind of a little perk too. Now, the other software programs that are connected to the hub, aka Hospitable, is PriceLabs. PriceLabs, absolutely amazing. I love it so much. And I'm not like a numbers person. That's all Clay. Clay's an engineer. So he's like numbers all day, every day. And honestly, I can't do that. But PriceLabs is all about the numbers. So it's a dynamic pricing tool and you connect it to all of your properties. And what happens is PriceLabs will say, hey, there's a concert happening this weekend. It's going to be big. Let's jack up the prices because we know it's going to be booked. Now, I know that Airbnb has a pricing, they say, quote unquote, dynamic pricing strategy themselves. The truth is that Airbnb wants people to book because the more people book through Airbnb, the more money they get. So sometimes they say that like, hey, this is the price that we suggest. Let's go for it. Usually you are leaving money on the table because Airbnb has its own priorities. That is to get people into your cabin to book it no matter what. PriceLabs is a third-party software that they can care less if you are leaving money on the table or not. Obviously, they want to maximize every single stay. So in PriceLabs, there's a minimum, a base, and the maximum. The maximum is like, hey, I don't want to price gouge people, so let's do a maximum amount. And that's like the really high demanding weekends. Let's just do that amount and call it good. Now there's a minimum of, I don't want to really lose money on this. So let's do a minimum night. So if it's a weekday, Wednesday, super random, let's just do the minimum just to get someone in there, but it's our minimum. And then you have the base of like, this is the base rate, and it's going to fluctuate left or right on like the prices. Now, PriceLabs is kind of a confusing software, and I don't want to say like a professional needs to use it, but it's going to be someone that really knows numbers and is good with, techie stuff, because there's a lot of settings in there and you kind of need to know what you're doing. Our settings are very customizable, and we have found that because our settings are this, then we are actually really maximizing our nightly stay. So that has been a juggle for years. We finally mastered it. And it's nice because one of the review criterias in Airbnb is value. So that is a huge, huge word, value. And if you, let's say your base rate is $250 a night, and you jack up the prices to $700 a night for the weekend because, let's just say the Jonas Brothers is coming to town. So random. I think I just saw one of my friends post a video of the Jonas Brothers. Anyways, Jonas Brothers are coming to town. Let's do $700 a night. People are going to say, wow, this cabin was not actually $700 value. There was very dirty dishes and some whatever, just did not feel like it should be $700 a night. So they're going to maybe give you a 2 or 3 or maybe even 1 star for that category. That's not good. So you want to make sure that your value still aligns with the price tag. I know a couple of my clients do, let's say actually, the base is $750 for some of these clients, and the maximum is $1,600 a night. That's really wild. Truthfully, if I stayed because I know that Airbnb, if I stayed at their Airbnb and had to pay $1,600 a night, I'd be like, yeah, that's a joke. So I told them that. Did they listen to my advice? No. But I mean, hey, they're still making a lot of money. I think that their value category is down a lot, but overall, they're making a lot. So, I mean, it is what it is. So that's PriceLabs. So just kind of make sure that your value is still there. Obviously, you don't want to leave money on the table, but you also don't want to price gouge people. Now, quick break. If you are a investor that is looking to purchase a Airbnb resort. Yes, I said resort. This is a great opportunity because you are able to grow with this resort. I am listing an Airbnb resort outside of La Crosse, Wisconsin. This place is absolutely amazing. It's off of a cliff and the views are literally breathtaking. It's very hard for me to be quiet. And when I walked out on the balcony, I literally stopped talking. The seller was talking to me and he was like, Britt. And I was like, oh, sorry. I was just taking in the views. And that takes a lot for me to just be breathless with a view. Have you ever been to Las Vegas and it has that big sphere thing now? That's how it feels like. Every single view is just gorgeous. This seller is selling a duplex as well as a little cabin. And it's very successful as is. He would like to sell those and then use that money to purchase another property. So he's doing 1031 exchange. He's not selling these properties because they are bad. He is selling them because they were his baby. Now he's on to a new adventure. Now, the great thing though is that in a couple years, he's going to be selling more cabins. So that means that you could gain all of that income and then use that income to purchase the next set of cabins and then eventually own your own resort. This is a huge opportunity for people, so do not pass it up. Let me know if you're interested. I'll send you all of the information and let's work together. All right, back to the episode. So that was Hospitable, the hub, PriceLabs, dynamic pricing software, Schlage, obviously, keyless entry system, amazing. And then we have Turno. Turno is, I don't want to say it's amazing because it's not amazing, but I've had some great success with it. Now, there are some hiccups though, and you know me, I'm very transparent about everything. So we use Turno for our cleaning. We do not pay our cleaners through Turno because Turno always says that they will charge the cleaner, I believe 5 to 10% of the total bill, and that's just not cool. So we just have the cleaner pretty much invoice us through QuickBooks and we pay them. We just use Turno for pretty much scheduling all the turns. So what happens is we connect Turno to Hospitable, aka the hub, and the second that there's a booking, Turno will then send a notification to the cleaner saying, hey, can you please clean on November 18th, 2025 at 11 o'clock, and then they have to accept or deny it. Oh, obviously, they're going to accept it because that's their job. If they deny it, then you have to find another cleaner, but that usually never happens. It'll also say if they don't do anything of unassigned cleaning. I will then reach out to the cleaner and say, hey, can you please accept this? And they say, oops, sorry, this one fell through the cracks. That, I usually catch that before the actual clean. Now, Turno does have some hiccups though. For example, if there is a cancellation, then it will delete in Turno, but it doesn't really notify the cleaner a lot. And sometimes they already have in their mind that hey, there's a clean on Tuesday. So they will go there and sometimes the cleaner will charge you saying, hey, I went there. What the heck? No one stayed there. And then they'll charge you a percentage or whatever. Another thing is that if let's say you block off your own weekend because you want to enjoy your own cabin, there's a setting in Turno that you have to change saying that whenever I block off my own dates, do not send a notification to the cleaner because I will just clean it myself. I have to do it. Well, I don't have to. I just decided to clean myself because I don't want to pay, X amount to pretty much have the cleaner clean when I can just clean myself and then I save money. So that was a setting that we did not know for a while. And whenever I blocked off a weekend because we wanted to enjoy our cabin, then I had to text the cleaner saying, hey, actually there's no clean there. It's just Clay and I. And, well, Melanie now. And Maple, our dog. But anyways, yeah, so Turno is great. There are some hiccups, and it's not like a set it and forget it. I would still kind of like keep an eye on it. Not that close though, but still keep an eye on it, because one of our cleaners has been getting a little frustrated with us because, well, to be honest, I just kind of set it and forget it. And with all the things happening, like renovations, Melanie, illnesses and all that. I'm not sick, but like baby Melanie was, she was not like sick, but like, she's in daycare. So she gets like the common colds and all that stuff. So that's been fun. But I haven't been keeping an eye on that. And one of our cleaners, I didn't notice, but a contractor pretty much reserved the house for a week, and then he's like, oh, I need to reserve it for another week. So he just did a whole nother reservation without just extending it. And the cleaner was like, hey, I'm here, like in the middle of the stay. He was like, hey, I'm here, but like someone else is here or still here. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, like they extended it by a week. And he was like, oh, Turno said that I have a clean here. And we realized that the same person just rebooked for another week instead of extending it. I called that guest. I'm like, hey, do you want the cleaner to clean? He's like, no, they can clean next week. And I was like, oh, okay. So the cleaner drove all the way to the property for pretty much no reason. And I should have caught that because, well, I should have noticed that like the same person rebooked. I didn't, and here we are. Yeah, just kind of keep an eye on it. And so that was Turno. Now we are on to QuickBooks. That's what we use for our bookkeeping. I know that there's other softwares out there, but I've just found that a lot of CPAs/accountants are very familiar with QuickBooks, and I have my own personal, from Porch Realty uses QuickBooks, so it's just easier to, just stick with that software. So that is our bookkeeping software. What else? I believe that's it. So Schlage, Hospitable, PriceLabs, Turno, QuickBooks. Our security system, we always use Blink cameras. They're not the best, but we want to keep it consistent. The only crappy part about Blink cameras is that the lithium batteries go out pretty often. So we either send more batteries to the cleaner and then they swap it out, or you can buy a charger for them, but we usually honestly just buy more, which is probably not like the most like price effective, but here we are. And I believe that's it. By using all of those softwares, I don't do that much. It's pretty great, not gonna lie. And I still, like respond to like just the mediocre stuff of like, I don't even know. What's a common question? Oh gosh, what's a common question that I get? Oh, I hate when people are like, what's the local restaurants? I literally just say, I have a welcome book on the coffee table. Please just refer to that. There are software programs out there that like you could plug in the address of the property, and from there it'll generate the top local restaurants. It's nice, but I don't think it's personable. Like in my welcome book, I do say like my personal favorites might not have the best Google reviews, but hey, like a dive bar is a dive bar, and I'm a sucker for a good dive bar. When Clay and I went to New Zealand, the Airbnb host told us this awesome dive bar, and it's literally a corner bar. It was probably like, I would say 400 square feet. It was tiny. We had so much fun at this little dive bar. Would we have gone there without the host recommendation? Absolutely not. But it was so much fun. And this is a side conversation, but when we went there, we're like, oh, like kind of, it was weird. It was just like, it was a corner bar, literally just so small. The bartender was kind of like not talkative at first, and then we had a drink, and like I hate to admit this, we live in Wisconsin, we like to drink, we know how to drink, we know how to handle ourselves, right? We had a beverage, and then we had a second one, and then we had a third one, then we started taking shots. I think we had like 3 shots and maybe 4 beverages. Sorry, that was a big long pause. For normal people, they would be on their ass. For Wisconsinites, that was like a really good buzz, and that's how it was. And this bartender, because like New Zealand folks don't really they don't really drink like Wisconsin people do. And when we ordered, like, I think our second or third shot, the bartender was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's whatever." And he was like, "That guy over there literally he's on his third drink and he's slurring his words and he can barely walk. You guys seem perfectly fine." And I was like, "Oh, that's a problem." And it was just, this bartender was just cracking us up. And then he was talking about our government and Trump and everything, and just how America looks from other countries' eyes. And it's very comical. But anyways, we would not have had that amazing experience if it wasn't for the host telling us her personal favorite. If we would have saw this on Google, like this bar, I would have immediately passed. That bar was like one of I don't want to say like the top memory of New Zealand, but definitely like one of the tops for sure. The other one was, never mind, I'm not even going to say it. It's a whole story. It involves hot springs. Yeah, I thought I could go into a hot spring. I wore my swimsuit in this like nature preserve like environment. They just walk on the trails. I thought like a hot spring was like a hot spring in Colorado. No, hot springs in New Zealand are like mini volcanoes, and you will die the second that like you go in one. I didn't know that. I thought that was gonna be like a nice spa type of situation, but no, everyone's like looking at me like, why does this chick have a towel? And the funny thing is, Clay didn't even dress up either. Like, he was just like, I'm gonna let you like be in your swimsuit, and then like no, Clay did have his swim. Yeah, he had his swim shorts on, but his swim shorts looked like normal shorts. Like mine looked like a swimsuit. So yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. But that's just, the tourist thing. I don't know. Anyways, I'm blabbering because I just had so much coffee and I just love to talk. Okay. But yeah, if you have any questions about any of the softwares, definitely reach out. Go get that freebie listing description. It saves us so many like stupid random questions that people ask. So get that freebie listing description. And then if you are interested in the Airbnb resort, let me know. Thanks for joining me on the Airbnb Roadmap. If you're loving these episodes and want to keep the conversation going, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with someone who's ready to dive into the world of short-term rentals. Got a question or topic you would love to hear about? Reach out. This podcast is all about learning and growing together. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the Airbnb Roadmap Podcast, for more tips, tricks, and behind-the-scene insights. Until next time, here's to turning your short-term rental dreams into thriving realities. I'll see you back here soon.